No! 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 Oh my god! Oh my god! As you can probably tell, this fail meant a lot to me. I mean, you could probably tell alone from how heavy my breathing was in the last clip. However, this level means a lot more to me than you probably think. Hi, my name is Doody, if you guys don't know me. Hopefully I'm going to be a Geometry Dash creator from now on. And as this is my first video, I wanted to do something special. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the stupidest jump in Geometry Dash. Don't get me wrong, this is nowhere near the hardest jump in difficulty someone's done in Geometry Dash. You can probably tell as I'm playing the level Aku, which is literally the 5th easiest extreme demon in the game. However, an extreme demon is still an extreme demon. That sounded really goofy. And I know what you guys are all wondering, and that is what level I actually jumped from. And I'm just gonna say it straight up. It was B, the medium demon. Now I know what you're thinking. Sure, that's a bit of a strange jump. Not many people jump from medium demons to extreme demons. It's usually harder insane demons they jump from. And I agree, it's not anything to shout about. Like, it is a cool jump. However, it was the way I actually jumped, which was just kind of crazy. And it wasn't something I would have expected myself to even do. So today I want to show you guys the whole story of how I beat my first extreme demon. I don't actually remember the first time I played Geometry Dash. I must have been about 7 years old, and it was on my old iPad or tablet, and I played Geometry Dash on and off on mobile for quite a few years, and my hardest on mobile before I switched to PC was Electrodynamics. At this time, I'd only ever played the main RobTop levels, and I had no idea that there was a whole other element to this game, and I barely knew anything about user-created levels, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know a demon existed. Like, I didn't know that was a difficulty. However, towards the end of 2024, when I was a lot older, I actually started getting back into playing Geometry Dash, and I ended up downloading it on PC in late 2024. Remember, my hardest at this time was still Electrodynamics, but I ended up beating a few of the easiest and most notable easy demons, like the Nightmare, Platinum Adventure, and the Lightning Road. However, I only really started taking the game seriously in the summer of 2025. I'd just finished my end of year exams for school, so I had time on my hands. And some of my friends who were also into playing GD showed me how to download mods for the first time, so now I could use start positions alongside other mods that really improve the quality of life for Geometry Dash players. So I decided to go for Club Step as a new hardest, and finally I beat the level after only about 2 weeks and many far deaths. I only realized this after watching the clip back, but it turns out I had my voice changer on, so my microphone sounded really goofy. After Club Step, I decided to continue my grind of easy demons, and it got to the point where I beat 3 easy demons in one day. However, to be fair, one of them was Invisible Club Step, which is a total copy of Club Step, and it's basically a free demon if you know how to play the original. However, I knew it was time for a step up. This was when I decided to go for B as my first medium demon, and at first, progress was slow. Flippin' heck. I was only playing the level occasionally, and I don't think I really believed I had the skill set to beat it. Especially as in the ending, there's a couple of orb timings that I could never get past. And funnily enough, I never figured out how to do the ending until I fluked it from 0 in my completion attempt. Oh my god. Oh my god. Miraculously, beating B didn't actually take me too long, with my worst death coming at 83% twice. My reaction sounded really awkward because my family were actually in the room at the time. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys with going through every single new best I got on B, so now it's time to move on to Aku. Originally, I planned on taking a break after I'd beaten B, just so I wasn't playing Geometry Dash 24/7. However, I was in a call one day, and I saw one of my friends playing the level Aku, and to be honest, I instantly fell in love with the level. I asked him what difficulty it was, and he said it was an Extreme Demon, and I was like... So I decided to try out the level for the first ever time, and to be honest, I couldn't get past 3%. Playing your first Extreme Demon in Geometry Dash is such a unique experience, and I didn't think in a million years that I would ever be able to beat the level. However, Aku had awoken a sort of passion inside of me, and all I knew is that one day I wanted to be as good as my friends who were playing this level. The next day, I hopped on Aku, and this time I managed to get a whopping 10%. This is the first time I actually properly tried on the level, and I was happy with my new best. The next day, I started trying out the different start positions for Aku, but this is when I realized that the pre-drop of an Extreme Demon is usually the easiest part. The drop was so hard that I remember progressing like 2% in an hour, and by this point, most people would have probably quit, but Aku had now awoken a passion inside of me, and I knew I wasn't going to stop until I beat the level. Now the grind had truly started, and as expected, progress started off almost non-existent, and I had to put up with so many deaths every time I played. I was practicing every day at this point, and eventually the progress started to show. I managed to get to the drop from 0%, getting a new best of 27. And I already knew by this point that this level could literally take me months to beat, as it was such a big jump in difficulty from B. However, after spending loads of time learning the level on a start position, the rate I was progressing picked up considerably, with me getting new bests such as 40, 44, 56, but unfortunately the clip didn't save, so this is all I have.
Oh, how'd I die though?
60%.
Oh yeah, got the best.
Until I finally reached 71%.
Yo.
Now you're probably wondering what's so significant about this 71% death. But those of you who have beaten Aku will know that 71% is the biggest choke point in the entire level. This wave section, which starts at 69% and ends at 72, consists of 4 times speed mini-wave gameplay, where you go upside down and have to avoid a spike, which is really awkward, and it's considered by most people to be one, if not the hardest part in Aku. And with the music and nerves from Zero, it becomes the ultimate choke point. And I got stuck here for ages. But the 71% curse couldn't last forever, and on August the 19th, 2025, I broke that curse.
No! No! No!
Now, I might have been saying no, but this was actually probably one of the best things that could have happened to me in this moment. Although 71 remained a pretty difficult part in Aku, I never had as much trouble with it as I did when I got stuck there, and it removed whatever mind block I had. From here on out, I knew the end was near. A couple days later, I got a new best of 78%. And I was so consistent playing the ending using start positions that I believed there was a fairly good chance of me fluking the ending from Zero. Which leads us on to my worst Geometry Dash fail ever, which you guys saw at the start of this video. No! 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 This was a fluke from 78%, and I honestly thought in that moment that I was going to beat Aku. I misaligned the dash up slightly, and because I was so nervous, it threw me off and I died. And I was devastated by this fail, because it would have meant that I completed Aku in less than a month of playing it. Looking back, I think it's a great learning experience to die far in an Extreme Demon. However, what I didn't want to happen was for me to die at 96%.
Oh my god.
To be honest, on the run where I got 96%, I had a bunch of random thoughts come into my head, which kind of distracted me. So I was almost relieved when I died there, because it was just one of those attempts when you feel distracted, and I don't think I really wanted it to be the completion attempt. However, this fail was only one day after the 97% one, which was brutal. At this point, I knew it was nearly over. My consistency was crazy, my click patterns were so good now, and I was so mentally in tune with the level that I knew it could be any day now. And pushing through that phase when you know you could beat the level at any moment is honestly really difficult. And in the end, on August the 31st, 2025, it finally happened. Oh my god! Oh my god! I beat it! I beat it! I beat it! I beat it! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! No way! No way! No way! I beat it! I beat it! I actually beat it! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I actually beat it! I actually beat it! Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't believe it! I spent over a month doing that. Yes!